listening to Kevin and the Spleen.
No one's gonna ever love me.
1098.5 Radio QWX for quick.
Bussin', no cap.
No cap.
Really smack you in the ass with flavor. There you go. This show is about depression, anxiety, PTSD, and chronic illness.
We going quick. We're trying to keep you on the path to the ride home on the evening time.
It's a fucking zoo.
Make it Quicks with the Quicks Radio.
White lives do not matter.
What up? We interrupt this breaking episode of That Happens to bring you some breaking news, even more breaking than the breaking episode of That Happens, folks. It's your main man, the Spleen, and I got something to tell you. Kevin.
Yeah.
You ever cutting food and the knife, it just ain't cutting it?
Yes, that happens a lot. I have terrible knives.
That's because you haven't used Cutco knives, my friend. That's right, Cutco, the blades that stay sharp every cut of the day.
Have you been to a meeting recently, Spleen, where somebody was telling you on the idea of pitching knives? Maybe.
What are you talking about?
I found I've had friends before get called to like this business like job interview fair thing, and then when they come out of it, they're trying to sell me Cutco knives.
Other people are selling you Cutco knives?
This has happened in my life before, yes.
So Cutco, that already exists?
Yeah.
Oh fuck. Kevin, oh no, we need a lawyer. Oh God.
You already have enough lawyers. What did you do?
If I had enough lawyers, I wouldn't be in jail right now trying to sell Cutco knives out of the jail.
Okay. Let's take this back a couple steps here. Why are you in jail, and where did you get the knives in jail?
Think about it this way. Who needs knives more than prisoners?
It's a captive market, that's what they say to look for.
It's literally a captive market, Kevin.
Yeah.
And so I figure, you got to come up with a name. Cutco, it's like alliteration. It's short, it's to the point. Hey, the point. Our knives are to the point. Cutco knives. Fuck, I got to stop saying that. So this is a company that exists?
Yes, it's sort of like Amway-ish in MLM. Yes.
How is selling knives in MLM? How are there layers of selling knives?
You're not just selling knives, you're selling other people on the opportunity to sell knives. And it's all very high pressure. And I don't know all the details, but I know several people that have been like, hey, can I come over? I have this thing I want to talk to you about. And I'm like, yeah, sure. And they come over with this whole like knife demonstration about how they can cut through a tin can and then a tomato and all of this. And it's all Cutco.
I got some knives once. I could cut through a can of soda or like a whole can of frosting. You could lob a frosting can up in the air and slice it right through the lid, Kevin.
That sounds actually pretty impressive. I would buy a knife that could do that.
Yeah, that's where I got the idea for Cutco knives.
Well, I mean, maybe we could acquire Cutco and turn them around so that they're less scammy.
Yeah. Maybe you think I could get some of these prisoners to be my downlines?
Maybe they could make the knives too. Instead of license plates, they could be making knives.
Well, prisoners are good at making knives. Just about anything.
Exactly. And if you're not picky about where your knives come from, this sounds like a great partnership opportunity.
Man, I wish these episodes weren't going to air out of order because I've been having a lot of troubles with my med bed.
Okay, well, I so badly when I asked you about the med bed, but it's going to be really confusing for people listening. But
yeah, we're going to have to get back to the med bed later.
Okay.
Folks, you're in for a real doozy. I'll give you a spoiler alert. Chup Chunklet died.
Yeah, I missed Chup so much
I'm
already.
still reeling with that, but in this timeline, he's still alive, I guess. I don't think he's died yet. So,
Wow, this is like Doctor Who levels of time paradox here. Yeah, I guess maybe we could send a message to Chup if you're listening. Don't go on that train. Don't. Just stay away from trains.
yeah. You know what's crazy about the train? A plane crashes into it. It's technically a train crash, but it's not the way you think.
I was trying not to I didn't want the butterfly effect. Like I wanted to like give too much information. I don't know why, like, in time travel movies, they're always trying to like, I can't tell you too much. Just, this is already too much, but don't go to school on this day, and that's it. So
Yeah, but that's just plot holes. There's no plot holes in reality, Kevin.
oh, there's plenty of plot holes in reality. I mean,
What?
like reality needs like an IMDb page where you can click on goofs and like have all of these like things that just don't make sense that are happening.
Right, yeah. These Cutco knives, Kevin, they're so sharp, they might be able to cut a hole in the space-time continuum.
Maybe that's why these episodes are airing out of order right now.
Holy fuck. You hear that sound, Kevin?
What is that? I'm not
That's
sure.
the sound of all the plot holes in our continuity suctioning closed. I think you figured it all out, Kevin.
Well, I mean, I love shows that sort of break the fourth wall and dive into things like this. So yeah, this is good. I like this.
I like that too. Do you like that? I looked at
Yeah.
the camera, folks.
Yeah, Spencer Jim the camera a little bit.
Spencer, who's that?
Sorry, the Spleen.
Thank you.
Actually, I wanted to ask you, Spleen. I've totally did not know this about you until I just rewatched part of this, but I forgot that in the movie Mystery Men, Paul Rubens' character is called the Spleen, and I didn't realize that was based off your life.
Yeah, well, we've been over this before. The spleen is more of a wavelength, and in theory, anyone can tune into it. I think it takes someone of massive talent and charisma to really hone in on the level that would be required to be in a movie. But Paul Rubens, I mean, that's right down the pipe. Tell me more about this. I mean, I remember it, of course. That was me, but you want to fill me in?
Well, okay, so the plot of Mystery Men is that it's a bunch of superheroes with questionable abilities,
Right, yes.
One guy throws cutlery, and somebody else's superpower is just that he gets very angry, and somebody else can be invisible, but only if no one else is looking, and things like that. The Spleen's powers are mostly based around flatulence of some kind.
What would the flatulence do?
It could distract an enemy at the perfect moment. It's very most of their powers were very vague and seemed to just sort of fit as needed through the movie. But yeah, he was called the Spleen, and his superpowers were all flatulence based.
You know what, Kevin? I just realized something.
What's that?
That character's name was the Spleen, and my name is the Spleen.
I see. I was going to ask, was that a coincidence, or did they still base the show around you? The character on you anyway, and they just happen to come up with the name.
You're right. We can sue them.
Okay.
Do you think there's a way that we could sue them and somehow transfer ownership of Cutco knives to them, so then Cutco sues them, and then we'll be suing ourselves, and then we could drop the lawsuit? It's a transitive property, Kevin. It's just math.
Yes, right. The transitive property of lawsuits does mean that you can sue yourself and win, but I don't know. This is probably why we should have a lawyer come on the show that we can pitch this to. And, we can get the station's corporate counsel in, but there might be a conflict of interest because, again, the station's suing us both.
The station is long gone, Kevin.
I think that's just what they want you to believe. I feel like...
I don't think you understand how sharp this knife is. I cut through that whole thing.
Okay. Well, all right. We definitely need a lawyer for tomorrow morning then.
Now, you bring up a great point. If we sued ourselves, we could make so much money. It's just like the producers.
I feel like you're onto something.
Of course I am.
Okay, so what would the basis of the lawsuit be? Why are we suing ourselves?
Malpractice.
Malpractice. Okay.
Wait. Animal practice.
Animal. Oh, so this is like failing to be a werecar kind of thing. Is that where you're taking this? Like oh, okay. Maybe as a werecar, you got into an accident and we're gonna have a personal injury lawsuit against ourselves.
Well, I was thinking that maybe I could play Dr. George Coleman, and my gift with animals could make me one of the New York's top vets, despite my unorthodox style of practicing and my lack of charm when it comes to people. And things could be shaken up at the animal hospital where I work when my ex-girlfriend takes over the family business. Despite the fact that she's smart and ambitious, old relationship issues and her lack of experience with animals could really start to cramp my style, and I could resist any change to the status quo. Meanwhile, I could also work with Dr. Yamamoto and Dr. Doug Jackson, a talented vet who is unlucky in love.
Okay, I'm just going to be honest with you. The way you presented that kind of felt like you might be ripping this off from something else.
Oh, God, are they going to sue us?
Well, I'd like to get ahead of that. Do we need to buy them so that we can sue ourselves there too? Or should they, acquire us or something like that?
Well, we could sell them knives.
Okay. I mean, I think maybe you should just use the knives and we just stab. That might be quicker than all this lawsuit business.
I don't know if Dr. George Coleman can be stabbed.
There's one way to find out.
This is a violent turn, Kevin. These violent delights have violent ends. I've always said that.
Violent delights have violent ends. Okay.
I've always said that.
Oh, okay. I mean, the candy violet delights also are wonderful too.
Those have violent ends.
Yep, right.
Talking purple shit, my man.
Right. So, maybe we should sue the people who made violet delights.
Okay. Wait, what's the angle there?
I chipped a tooth on the candy, and you had to use your knife to do surgery on me, and that's where the malpractice angle comes in because you did a terrible job.
Animal malpractice.
Animal practice, right? Because you're a were vet.
I'm a were vet. Well, I was bit by a radioactive Vietnam vet.
Yes.
Wow.
Saving Private Spleen. Yeah.
Saving Private Spleen. And who plays Spleen? Paul Rubens. You think we can get him?
That might be tricky, but again, since these episodes are airing out of order, that could be an option. I don't know.
Yeah. It would have to be really out of order.
This could be episode 1.
Okay. Now this I like. I like this.
Okay. Because when I upload these episodes, I can just put whatever number I want on the episode number.
Right.
So
and you could spoof the timestamp, right?
Right. I could publish this back to 1999 or whenever Mystery Men came out. We could just beat all of this and then claim that Mystery Men was our idea.
Hey, look, a penny.
I think we've lost the Spleen's attention here. Spleen. That's
hey, what's
not a
up,
penny.
guys? How's it going?
Well, hey, Spencer. You should definitely check your environment for prisoners with knives around you right now. I don't want to give away too much, but there might be a convict with a knife behind you.
Oh. Jigglypuff's got a knife.
Yeah.
Man. Jigglypuff with a knife. Now that is a powerful Pokemon. What's up, folks? It's That Happens, the only podcast The only podcast. It's the only podcast that I don't know. It struggles to justify itself to the world. Boy, howdy. Are we struggling today? What's up, Kevin? How you doing?
Good. You have me wondering, like, one day there's going to be a final, like, last episode of any podcast ever made, and I wonder what that's going to be and why.
Yeah. If it's up to me, probably what's going to happen is we'll skip a week. We'll do an episode. We'll skip a week. We'll do an episode. We'll skip 2 weeks. We'll do an episode. We'll do 2 episodes in 2 weeks. We'll skip a couple episodes. We'll do one. And then that'll just happen to be the last one. And we won't really talk about it, and we won't know. But in fact, it will have been the last episode.
And then somewhere there, Jeff will do one by himself out of nowhere and not even tell us.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we deserve it. It's just our luck. I miss Jeff. Jeff texted me. He sent me a postcard. He should do the podcast.
It would be nice. Oh, you
changed cameras.
You look different now.
Yeah. This one really catches my face a lot more in the white light, huh?
Yeah.
Whatever. Who cares? Okay, folks. Man, what a show. We got for you quite a show. We pre-recorded 2 episodes. So let's just play them. Let's just play those now.
We should do Spencer reacts to that happens and then just have you reacting to yourself.
I swear to God, I really would do that and want to do that. We did 2 episodes. One episode, we talked about AI for like 15 minutes. It was nuts. It was, a good talk, question mark, but it was certainly not what I expected us to be doing that whole time. Kevin,
that's a well we've gone to several times. So No,
it's fine. It was like, man, and it was an interesting conversation, but I would just look and I was like, okay, it's been like 20 minutes. It's like with 30, we're still talking about it. It was nuts. But you were talking about how AI was becoming self-aware or something. I don't know. What were you talking about? Whatever. We don't want to talk.
Yeah,
See, this is what it would be, is if we were talking, we're reacting to the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, eventually I think that the show will become, hey, remember that time we talked about, and then that's just going to be it.
I think that would be good. It's like Clerks. I think the 2nd episode of Clerks was the clip show. That's like a great bit. The thing about a clip show is it's actually more work than we do on the podcast.
Yes.
That's like the only thing holding it back. Also, I do the clip shows. I make the clip shows, but they're pretty by the book, I guess. But yeah,
it's a lot of work making a clip show. Like, I don't think people really think about this, but like you have to, not only remember where things were in all these episodes, but then go and find them and then condense them down into something, single serve size and stuff like that. It's I know it's lazy when a show does a clip show, but it is a lot of work.
And it's more work when you try and do one with like an actual premise that kind of elevates it past just like a normal clip show,
Yeah.
But hey,
yeah,
you get what you pay for. We should take this show fully Patreon. You have to pay. And it just falls off the face of the earth. We could just tell people we are doing that. Never do another episode. No one would ask any questions. They're like, well, I'm sure they're doing it behind the paywall. I'll never know. But yeah, so we did an episode where we talked about AI, and we did that last week because we missed on Sunday. So we're recording a makeup episode on Wednesday. We were going to put it out on Thursday, but then we were going to record our next episode, and I was worried that talking about AI for 50 minutes might scare our guest if he happened to listen to that episode before, which is insane. I mean, it's rare for people to listen to a podcast before they guest on it. It's something that technically could happen. But hey, I'm getting a call. Should I take the call on the phone?
Is it the Spleen?
You know that this show is not going well. Hold on, I'm going to take it. Hello? Oh, it's my friend in jail. It's my friend in jail. He's my downline. I got him selling knives. You think he's offended by this bit?
I would assume not. I would assume anybody who is your friend that would be calling you would find the humor in the situation.
Yeah, I wish I could talk to him on the podcast. You could get a sense of how he's doing. His voice is really messed up. He I don't know. He was saying he thinks it's black mold or something, but his voice is all raspy as shit. He can't barely talk right. It's been a real trip, but anyway. So that's what he's doing. He's being in jail. Jail's not a good time, apparently. I don't know if you know this.
No, it does not sound fun.
No, it's marked by being unfun. But anyway, the guest in question that I was talking about was Brennan Lee Mulligan. Boy, howdy. We had Brennan Lee Mulligan on. Go ahead.
He's amazing. He really is.
He really is.
Everything, he was as kind as I hoped he was.
He was, and Matthew Mercer was the same way. He hasn't been on the podcast, Matthew Mercer. But I had lunch with him once, and he was really nice too. They were both very similarly nice. And, I'm a good person, ? But they're so good that it's like, what is going on? Because either these guys are too nice or I am like a huge problem,
Okay. Well, okay. If you had to take a stab, which one do you think it is?
I think I'm a huge problem.
I don't think you're a problem.
I wonder if Matthew Mercer does meditation. Brennan talked a little bit. I wanted to actually, that was like one of the questions I had for him. I never got around to it. But I wanted to ask him if he had like a meditative practice, because he is so nice and cool that it's hard to imagine being that like centered without like actively doing some sort of meditation. But yeah, it was great. We talked about D&D. We actually talked about D&D more than I wanted to, because I was just more interested in him as a person and an enigma to try and get my mind around. He went to college, Kevin, at 14 years old, majored in philosophy.
There were so many things that Brennan said in the episode that were just like deep enough that could have been an entire topic. Like he said it, at one point, interacting with fans and everything, something along the lines of like, snowflakes are unique, but in a blizzard, you can't focus on the uniqueness of a single snowflake and stuff like that. Yeah. And like that's very profound. Like I'm not saying like he invented that idea, but like the way he phrased things like that, there were a lot of things he said that after the show, I was like, wow, I'm still thinking about this.
Yeah, he was talking about now we're talking about this podcast. He was talking about how the tragedy of fans in parasocial relationships is there's just not enough time in the world to like form a realistic relationship with every one of the fans, which is like, I don't think I've ever heard anyone express that as like something they were interested in doing. And to him, it was like the cosmic tragedy that it simply wasn't possible. And I was like, Jesus Christ, I am like Satan or something, I don't know. But I would like to talk more philosophy and politics with him, honestly. But
I've seen you be incredibly kind after like Harmontown and stuff, staying longer than anybody else to chat with people and sign things and stuff like that. So I think you're on the same level there.
Well, that was just because I was lonely.
I don't think so, because you could have been lonely doing something else,
I often am.
That's true.
There's no one to chat to after shows anymore, other than you.
I know, and I'm no fun. But
yeah, you're a mess. This guy's a mess. He's so sloppy. Kevin's drunk right now. He's a regular Pete Hegseth.
Oh, I don't know if I'm quite to his level.
Go ahead.
No, I know we've talked about this before, but like, I would love to be able to just drink and enjoy it once in my life. That would just be something, but I can't, I have no tolerance for it. I can't.
Yeah. I saw a video with Pete Hegseth in it, and his sideburns are so uneven. One is like easily 1.5 inches longer than the other one. It's like, how fucking drunk do you have to be to have like insane sideburns like that? He's a fucking government guy. He wanted a makeup studio, put it in the Pentagon. It's like, start with your fucking sideburns. You might need less makeup, Maybe he wants makeup to cover his sideburns. I don't know. Folks, I don't know what to tell you. I went to an oil change. I got my oil changed, and I went to Jiffy Lube. And I wish they would have told me, because I think I would have been fine for it. But them not talking about it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Where in Jiffy Lube you kind of stay in your car while they do the thing, the oil change. And so a guy like tries to open my door, and it's locked. So I'm like, okay. I have to unlock the door for this guy who is without permission or forewarning just decided to open my car. He starts selling me a Cutco knife, Kevin. No, so then the engine cabin, the cabin air filter of the car is inside the glove box compartment. And so then he just opens up my glove box, and it's like, this is taking a lot of liberties with someone else's space that they're currently sitting in without saying fucking anything. Also, I change my own air filters. So like, I don't like, if you said this, like, I'm going to check, I would say, no, it's fine. I will change it myself later. So they take it out, they put it on top of the car. They also do it with the engine air filter. They put it on the car, and they look at the filters, and they're like, the filters, they're doing their job. And it's like, what is the alternative? It's not doing it. It's an air filter. It just air flows through it. That's it. And they're like, we're not going to recommend you replace them. And I was like, okay, great. So you didn't have to take them out at all. I really wish you would have just asked. Also, like, I got my oil change there, like 5,000 or so miles. You don't need to change these filters every time, and he has it in his fucking, like, his document that, like, I came there last, and, whatever, they changed the filters or whatever, or I changed the filter. I don't know. I guess maybe they don't have it if they didn't change it. Whatever. Stop poking holes in my story. But so then they go to put the screws on the engine oil filter back on. And again, I wish they had told me about this, and I wish I warned them. But one of the reasons I go to Jiffy Lube now is because the last time I went to the last place I went to get my car maintained at, they would over tighten the screws on the engine oil filter. And these screws, I wish I had a picture to show you it, because they're a normal screw, and then they have this inexplicable, really narrow part towards the head that, like, the only possible purpose it could serve is to make it easier to snap off while you're trying to screw on the screw. And it's been multiple times they machine tighten it at the place I used to go, and there's been multiple times where I've said no to the oil filter. They've screwed it back on, over tightened it, and just like with a screwdriver trying to unscrew it, you just twist it once, the head just snaps off like butter. Like it's so bad. It was like, maybe this was broken before I even touched it. I don't know. But so as a result, like, I want to warn them, like, hand tighten that to the end, because there's a lot of tread on these screws. They don't need to be so tight. They're like, holding fast. And so then they put on the screws back on, and they're using a machine, which, again, the reason I come to Jiffy Lube is because they told me they always hand finish the screws. And I was like, okay, whatever. And the person putting it on, you can hear the tool going past the point of tightness. It sounds like an impact driver or something. I don't know if it is or what, but it's going like, gah, 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 gah. And then, two more. And then on the third, I could see that what they're doing. And it's like, clearly they broke the screw, and they're holding like the piece of the screw that came off, and they're like, oh God, whatever. And I'm like, God damn it. And this is something I've anticipated because it's happened before. So I have the extra screws in my car because
because yeah, I went to the dealership and bought them. Each screw is $25.
Okay.
Which, I mean, that's dealership prices.
That explains why they're designed to fail then. Yeah.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And so they're putting the car back together, and they're not like telling me that they broke the screw. Like, it's very clear that that's what they did. But the hood's up. I can see under the hood. That's why I could see what was happening. But there might be a plausible deniability where they can like think that I didn't see what happened. Also, here's the thing: the chuckle fucks that go through Jiffy Lube, not all of them are going to pay attention. But this is my problem with the world, Kevin, is that no one treats me like the genius I am. I'm not someone you can fucking just pass off a broken screw. I'm not just going to not notice that you broke the screw, from under the gap in the hood of the car because the hood's flipped up. I notice. And so the guy comes over to me and he's like, okay, and then sign here or whatever. And I was like, hey, so you broke the screw. And he was like, oh yeah, I was actually just going to tell you that. I was like, you're just going to tell me that after you got my signature? Like, I don't know that you were just going to tell me that. Oh, by the way, this is a part I skipped, but the person who broke the screw, like, told whoever was talking to me, the advisor or whatever, they kind of whisper to each other. So it's like, yeah, this is clearly, I don't know. And then I was like, he's like, okay, yeah, we broke it, but it was just the top of the screw. The rest of the screw is just fine. And I'm like, that's not how screws work. It's not less broken because it was broken towards the top of the screw. The screw's broken. And I really was surprised that they didn't offer me any sort of discount or something, because I think they were just going to send me on with a broken screw. And I was like, I got an extra screw. You want to put it back on? He's like, yeah, it's actually still stuck down there. So I don't know if we can get it out. And I'm like, trust me, this happened before. You can get it out. I have faith. And so he eventually gets it out and they put the new screw in. And then I could see he's showing the other person, like, here's how you don't over tighten it. You kind of go slow towards the end. You can hear it tightening. And once it gets like to a tighter point, you go in like quick bursts kind of, which honestly isn't going to stop it anyway. But and then he's like, okay, you're good. And again, I'm like, he's not going to offer to like pay. And I was like, yeah. He's like, it's lucky you had the screw. And I was like, yeah, it is lucky. It was lucky I could cover your mistake, and I was like, these are $25. And he was like, whoa. And I was like, yeah, I mean, that's what they charged me. I don't know if they're actually $25, whatever. But at this point, I'm like not happy, but I'm like, I'll just like call them later and like complain to the manager or something. I don't know. But I ordered new screws online. So now I have more, because that was my last screw, because I've broken, or the dealership broke one. I broke one. And then this place broke one. So I was out. I got 4 more. So now I'm good to go. But I don't know. I was not happy that they didn't offer to. They broke a piece of my car and were just like, A, maybe not going to tell me. And B, not offering to make it right in any sort of way. And C, being like, oh man, you really saved our ass while you had a screw. Like, I thought I was going to be in trouble. It's like, you are in trouble. You broke my car. But whatever. Also, they had me turn on the car when the engine air filter wasn't installed yet, which I think can damage the car. And then I think they noticed that the engine oil filter wasn't installed yet, or air filter. And they're like, okay, turn it off. Like and then I was like, okay. And then they quickly put it back on. And then I was like, God damn it. I don't know. Most of my experiences at this place have been like impossibly professional and fast and really well done. Like, this was a bunch of errors by my book. And so it was a bummer, because I was really liking going to them. I probably will still go to them, but I might have to be more of a stickler or something. But yeah, I don't know. Should I call the manager and be like, hey, you broke my screw. It was a $25 screw. Like, what are you going to do here?
I mean, I don't think there's any harm in letting them know, but I don't know what they're going to do about it that would satisfy you.
Well, you're right, Kevin, because literally nothing could satisfy. They could give me a free car, and I'd be like, that's not good enough. But I don't know.
Yeah, I went to a place a long time ago, and it was one of those where like you pulled in, and then you had to wait in this waiting room that was like a fishbowl that you could see all the cars being worked on. And like, I literally watched the guy unplug one of the spark plug wires from my car and just leave it. Like, he wasn't supposed to touch. He was just supposed to do an oil change, not touch spark plugs in any way. He didn't touch any of the other spark plug wires. He just literally, as the very last step before shutting the hood, unplugged one of the wires, shut the hood, and then drove the car back out. And it's like misfiring and sputtering and like, acting all rough. And he was like, no, that's how it was when I pulled it in. And I'm like, no, I saw you unplug the spark plug wire. And he's like, no, I didn't. You need a tune up. And I was just like, so we argued back and forth, and I finally just like popped the hood, plugged the spark plug back to myself, and drove off. But like, I was like trying to like understand like how the scam they thought was going to work of like someone bringing in a working car, having them perform an oil change, and then literally 5 minutes later, the car barely running. Like,
right.
You're gonna blame them for that immediately. I'm not gonna like.
Right.
You're not gonna upsell me on a tune-up.
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, that's yeah. I don't know. I hate that. I hate that for you. I'm righteously indignant. I wish you sued them or cut them in half with a Cutco brand knife.
I would love to do that.
Kevin, I need more downlines on my Cutco brand knives. That's where the real money is.
I'll sign up under you. It's okay.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. We're making it to the moon. See, the thing about Cutco is those knives actually are good. I mean, I know they are like a multi-level marketing company, but I mean, in general, knives aren't like, knives are fine. It's not like you get a bad knife. It's not like that bad. It still cuts. It just cuts worse. It doesn't hold an edge or whatever. But, in terms of like scams, like a decent cooking knife, I guess they're probably overpriced, but like that's maybe the big thing. They're functional knives. I had a friend who had Cutco knives. He had a bunch of friends that were selling Cutco knives. They were great knives. He used them for years. He only like sold for them for like, I don't know, 2 months, but the knives, they stayed.
Yeah. Well, that's sort of a hard thing to maintain, like an MLM around, because the whole point of MLMs is that you annoy all your friends until they feel bad and buy your stuff. But there's only so many times I can sell you new kitchen knives,
Right.
because like if 6 months later I need to replace the knives I just bought from you, you're selling me terrible knives. So
Right.
I'm not going to buy them again.
Yeah.
It's a weird thing to base an MLM around.
Yeah, man. Okay. So we didn't do enough prep, or I didn't do enough lead time on this, but there's a trend that I've been obsessed with the past week on TikTok. It's so good. I was going to try and do it on you, but I didn't know how to get it to work. But the trend is someone finds a random name associated with usually their parent, although sometimes it's friends or coworkers. And so I don't know. Do you have any childhood friends that you would be willing to name on microphone?
Mike.
Do you have a last name, even a fake one for the purposes of this?
Charleston.
Okay. So someone would be filming, usually surreptitiously on their phone, and they would be like, man, Kevin, I'm so hungry. Kevin, I'm so hungry. I could eat a whole Mike Charleston, or I could eat Mike Charleston. And it's like a kid saying this about like, I don't know, like your dad's high school prom date or something. Or, an old friend of your grandma, or like
Okay.
a coworker's stepsister or something, like people that you'd never have, I would never know Mike Charleston. I've never heard of him,
Right.
And so the people have the crazy, it's a very reasonable reaction to like, what am I hearing? What did you just say? And then like, how do you know that name? And then like, the people kind of play it off. They're like, I'm just so hungry. And they're like, yeah, but why did you say that? And they're like, well, it's just a saying, like I'm so hungry I could eat Mike Charleston. And they're like, that's so crazy. Mike Charleston is a friend of mine. And then you say, it goes different ways depending on how the people react. But my favorite is it goes like this, and then it goes like, yeah, and I'm so hungry I could eat him. Like, and it just, I don't know. It's so when trends really catch fire on TikTok, like everybody does this, But man, my algorithm caught on it so fast. Easily more than half of the videos I was seeing like for 4 days straight was just these videos. And even when they weren't executed very well, they were just, it was always so funny because the people are just like, what the fuck? And it just, you know, different people would take it different ways. Like there's one, this one might have been fake, but someone was like, I don't know, something like Mike Brooks, who drowned in the 8th grade. Yeah, good luck eating him, like, or whatever. Or, you know, someone would mention a guy that like their mom had a crush on and she was like, I could eat him too, you know, and stuff like that. So it's just, you know, you get all this texture and just like, you know, it's voyeuristic. It's great, but you get someone's weird house. It's not weird. It's just a perfectly normal lived in house that you're getting like a phone camera window in, and then someone's, you know, weird parent, and then their weird reaction. And then whatever they're saying about like, you know, I don't know. There's this one that was like, I'm so hungry I could eat Sue Battaglia. And the person was like, Suba, who? And then later they're like, she was just reacting with disbelief. And one of the things she said was like, you said that? Like you said that? Like, yeah, you said that. How are you questioning, you know, I don't know. But it's so good. And I would have just ran through like, you know, a bunch of videos like live on my feed to see what happened, which that's a dangerous gambit now that I think about it. But yeah, man, it's so good. It's easily one of the best trends I've seen on TikTok in years, and is maybe up there in like the top 5 trends I've ever seen on TikTok. But man, everybody's having a great time with being so hungry. Again, even when they're bad at doing the bit, it still is pretty funny. But
okay, yeah. I TikTok is such a weird ectocosm of misinformation, amazing, you know, weird trends like this, and just like everything all just piled together.
Yeah, I heard this. Well, I didn't hear. I saw this headline, didn't click on it. Maybe misinformation. Hey, but the headline it agreed with my prior stereotypes. So you know it's true, baby. It said that Gen Z is the most prone to misinformation age cohort ever tested out of all the age cohorts. They're by far the most prone to disinformation. And they said like A, because they're like young and gullible, and B, because they uniquely have no lived experience, like in part because of the pandemic and stuff, but it's just like, you know, they don't like experience the world outside of, you know, these curated distortion pipelines. And that, so yeah, I don't know. I think our cohort, you know, millennials are one of the better at detecting media misinformation. We're better at media literacy, which I think that's probably true. Although I don't know, it's getting worse. Like disinformation is just getting worse. So I think we're all kind of prone to it on some extent, you know.
There's so many times where it's like I'm seeing something that is just obviously not true. Like logically, it does not make sense. It's inconsistent with like established facts. Like it could not be more clear that this is like either like a article from The Onion or, you know, some literally just made up outrage bait headline kind of thing. Mm. And seeing people taking it at face value, going, yeah, that's completely believable. I believe that. Yeah. You know, it's heartbreaking to me to see that like we've turned the internet, which should have like been the tool to stop things like that, into the most powerful fire hose of misinformation.
Yeah. Yeah. But at least they got that med bed on the way.
Yes. I can't wait for your review.
Yeah. The med bed review. Okay, we got a soda. We got a soda for you to try. It's Sun-Kissed Raspberry Blood Orange. Kevin, you sent me more sodas and snacks. We're just going to try this soda. But you don't have this one, right?
I don't have that one, no.
Have you had it before?
Yes. I thought I was going to be able to go back and get more, and it's already gone now. So wow. I sent you my last one.
It's interesting. The other day, I actually saw this in a store, and it was like it entirely lapsed over where you are, and now we're just getting it in over here.
Yeah.
And pretty soon, there's going to be that mango flavored Mountain Dew that's only at Little Caesars. That's one I want to try. But okay, what do you think of your taste? I'm smelling it. It smells very raspberry, not very blood orangey.
Yeah, so I really love blood orange as a flavor. Like if you give
Yeah,
me a blood orange drink, I'm gonna choose that almost every single time.
yeah.
Um, I don't feel this was a very faithful recreation of the blood orange flavor, but this didn't upset me.
I want to say, like, if you had a mix of blood orange and raspberry, the raspberry might kind of be overpowering. Blood orange, I don't know if you guys have, folks at home have tasted it, but it's a very strong citrus. I'd say it has a lot more lemon notes than is typical. It's way more sour than a normal orange is. Very, very acidic. It's interesting. We had a neighbor that had a blood orange tree, and they'd give us blood oranges. And it's not just like the inside is red and bloody kind of colored, but it also like the packets, I don't know what you call those, the little juice packets that are in citrus fruits, they're in between the sections. If you suck out the juice or you bite them and puncture them, like they had this weird like green color to them. Like, so it wasn't just like red, it was also like some greenness. I don't know. Very, very bizarre look to them. I mean, and you cut them open, they definitely look bloody, hence the name. But blood orange kicks ass. But yeah, I'm gonna give it a try. Kevin, you want to commentate?
Okay. So Spencer's smelling it. He's giving it a taste. He's mulling it, almost suspiciously, like he's giving it the side eye back and forth a little bit.
Yeah. It tastes like fermented raspberry. It tastes like raspberry that's gone off. And maybe it has.
Yeah, if you had like blind given that to me, I don't think blood orange is the flavor I would have guessed it to be. I would have maybe thought grapefruit raspberry or something, maybe.
Yeah, it has some bitterness, which I want to say that blood orange does have kind of some more bitter notes to it. But again, this does just taste like maybe it's gone alcohol, which I don't think is possible. But it really does taste like kind of alcohol notes, which is worrying, I guess.
Well, let's see how drunk you get in the next 25 minutes here.
Mm-hmm. Whoa. Yeah. The more I drink it, I feel like stuff like this, it tastes different if you have little sips versus big sips. And I think when you take bigger sips, it kind of tastes better. But that's good. I had too much soda today. I had a Mountain Dew Game Fuel this morning. I did D&D today. We played D&D. We recorded a session that could hypothetically be the first, D&D podcast thing that we're trying to do. It's probably going to take me a while to get edited. And I will probably be putting it on Patreon, and no one can know about this, guys. Might put it on their Patreon too. I'm not sure. I assume we'll probably put it on this feed at some point. But yeah, we recorded for about 4 hours. I don't know. Maybe we'll cut it in half. I don't know. Well, I'll have to figure it out. But I think it went okay. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. I do feel that doing D&D 2 days after Brendan Mulligan was on the podcast, I was like, man, I suck so much. I'm so bad at this. I couldn't get a sentence out. Yeah. And we're trying to compete in the same sphere. We're trying to, both put out live play content. This is not going to go well. It's going to be a mess. But I don't know. I do think it's fun. You can't compare yourself to the gods. It validates a lot of criticism I've received where people are like, yeah, live play is so much better than it was back at those days. And it's like, yeah, I'm not good. But hey, as the self-help book, The Artist's Way says, you have to let art be bad. So I guess we'll do that. What's new in your world, Kevin?
The weather's finally turning warm here, so I'm trying to get some stuff done outside. It's hard to like conceptualize this to people who live somewhere that's like basically the same weather all year round, like it is for you. Like we have a good 4 to 6 months out of the year where you just don't go outside unless you have no other choice, and everything outside you is just dead. And so like today, Ariel was out planting some flowers, and I'm trying to get we have this grill outside that's like all like hard plumbed into the gas line and stuff like that is broken. So I was trying to fix that today, and just it's spring, so we start doing the outdoor things again. And like It's very seasonal and cyclical and kind of like that. So that's been most of my last week, really. Nothing groundbreaking. Just, oh, it's warm outside finally, so we can do these things.
Mm-hmm. Sounds like spring has sprung, hey?
It has. It has. It was a little late this year, I feel like.
Yeah, I feel like the seasons are just moving forward in time. I don't know if that actually works out or is true, but it certainly seems like that to me.
Yeah, I seem to have, memories as a kid of like it being much colder in November than it is now and stuff like that. I should look at like historical weather records and see if I'm just imagining that or not, though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, who knows? Anyway, let's go to the phones. Caller, you're on the air.
Oh no, we have no callers,
God
unfortunately.
Can you imagine if one day I say that and we just do somehow? We have a call.
I could have some ready to go. Just
I know.
just waiting for you.
No, let's go to the email. I got an email from Adrienne Smith. She wants to get on the podcast. So to her, I will say the same thing I have told the other person, which is contact Kevin on Discord. Get in the Schraub Home Video Discord and talk to him. That's how we organize that stuff. He doesn't read the emails, but I would be willing to talk to you and anybody else who gets on the Schraub Home Video Discord. And yeah, maybe that should be a Patreon tier. The thing is, if it's a Patreon tier and we ever do people that didn't pay for it, then everybody's going to be mad on all sides,
Yeah.
So that's bad.
And I wonder, not that I think this would happen, but how we would handle like, somebody doing the whatever top tier that lets you be a guest on the show and them just being a legitimately awful person.
Yeah, well, I think it would have to be not a ton of money, so that's this top tier thing. And it's just like you get to be one of these short segments that we can hang up on. It's just that.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah. Anyway, what else we got? Brian writes, I love listening to you guys. I think you two have a great repartee and have developed such a fun natural rhythm. I was listening to your up the strength of four babies. I thought that I could talk offer some talking points about jail and prison. Out of college, I worked at programming, installing, and fixing prison and jail systems, control systems. This included the hardware and computers and programs that were used to open doors, view cameras, recordings. I saw truly horrible things. Okay. But worse than that was the dehumanization in that the people in the facilities were subjected to. Sure. I saw someone get strip searched in a vestibule. And there's one-way mirrors. Let's see. There's just dehumanized watching people in this kind of search room. Let's say they're filled with tension and worse than prisons. Yeah, I've heard that a lot, that jails are worse than prisons. They're in the middle of having the fall to pieces moment beneath them. Let's see. Many of them were coming off of drugs or going through withdrawal. That's true. I'm not going to lie. It seems bad, Kevin. It seems bad to be in jail or prison.
It doesn't seem ideal, no.
I love listening to you guys and listening to what you have to say. Please keep doing what you're doing. It's amazing. But yeah, it's not good. I don't know what to do about it. I think my friend technically has a bail, but I can't pay his bail. Imagine he skips town. Suddenly I have to pay like the whole bail or whatever. Also, I don't have collateral. I can't do a bail bond. I don't know. It sucks. I don't know what to do. There's nothing to do. I mean, I could barely help myself. I'm so fucking broke, Kevin. It's fine.
Illinois has finally gotten rid of cash bonds for the most part now.
So what does that mean? They just don't get released, or?
Well, it's a decision of like, are you a threat right now or not? Like,
Right.
like trying to take away like your ability to produce cash as a factor in that. Just like, is the world safer not having you out on the street while we figure out what happened? And do we think you're going to run away or not? Not how much money can you produce in a short amount of time.
Yeah.
And so far from what I could tell, it seems to have like worked about as well as it could have. Like I'm sure people are going to come up with cases where this person got let out and then did something horrible and whatever. But I don't think having a rich relative that bailed you out would have changed that.
Yeah. Yeah. That sounds good. I mean, Illinois is pretty progressive. I wonder if they're the most progressive state. Anything Colorado, maybe. California, certainly not.
See, here we view California as the most progressive state.
Oh, boy. Yeah. I guess I get that. That's like how in California, Florida orange juice is the best, but in Florida, California orange juice is the best.
Yeah.
It's just marketing. But I don't know. I definitely think Chicago is more progressive than LA. I wonder if Chicago is more progressive than San Francisco. Probably. Anyway. So Pedro writes, hello, Spencer and Kevin. Thank you both for keeping the podcast going. It's a great source of comfort. So the other day I was getting ready for work when an ad played on Univision that caught my attention. I felt my heart sink that it would be played on TV, but even more that it was on a channel whose viewer base is mostly comprised of immigrants, probably. And it's that, I don't want to play it. I don't want to, whatever, but it's that Kristi Noem, like, thank you, Donald Trump, for like imprisoning all the guys video. Which is like just a weird premise for an ad. That's just like, it's like an ad for fascism. Fascism, try it out. Like, I don't know what even the purpose is. Whatever. Corporations are not our friends, but man, what a bummer and a slap to the face of their own audience. I would like to hear your takeaways from this video and the insane stories coming out, like the detention centers in Florida. The Nazis are at it again, and I'm growing weary of the whites. Keep up the work and rock on, JD. Oh, sorry, his name was JD, I guess. P.S. I've heard Spencer mention in passing a decline in numbers. Is SHV in jeopardy? Kevin, is SHV in jeopardy?
I don't think so.
I wish SHV was on Jeopardy.
I wish we had Jeopardy on Drop on Video. I mean,
there you go.
I'd watch Jeopardy right after the show right now. No, I don't think so. I mean, it's definitely shifted. We have shows come, we have shows go. Different times of the year we have more and less people and things like that. It's very much up and down and things like that. But Rob's producing new stuff. He's giving me something new to show every week for the last 4 weeks now, I want to say. We've got Mike and Jordan and Brennan's cartoon thing every week, and Apocalypse Then has a new music video thing every week. So we always have something new. Tonight we have Abed's show has something new right after this too. So,
wow, did you watch that?
I have not yet, actually. I downloaded it just in time to queue it up. So
okay,
I'm going to be watching it for the first time with everybody else.
Yeah, I saw a picture he posted of it, and it looked good. I wonder how it's going to be. Abed's a crazy guy.
He is. He's I heard about people talking about Abed for a long time before I ever met Abed. And I still was not prepared for Abed, but
you can't be.
He's one of my favorite people I've ever met in my life, though.
Yeah, can we talk about his idea?
Sure. I mean, Abed threw out this idea several times where he wants to go on a road trip with me, and together we're going on a road trip, and somehow we're filming that, and that becomes content that people would watch.
Yeah, and Kevin was saying, like, I don't know, it seems like it's just going to be a long time of just driving. I was like, I think that's gold. Like, that sounds amazing to me. Also, I should go too.
Well, I think you should. I think the three of us in a car could get into some trouble, but some good trouble,
That's some high drug and good trouble. That's what you want. Who wanted good trouble?
Everybody.
That was that guy, right? What was his name? John Lewis. Yeah. John Lewis essentially said that this should happen.
Okay, well, if it was prophesized, then I think we probably need to do it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but you and Abed in a road trip, honestly, it might be better without me. But hey, this is an idea I've had. This is actually Abby Maley's idea, but it's a good idea, even though Abby Maley is a Nazi. They're all Nazis, Kevin. Can't do anything about it. But she had an idea to do a Windy City Heat of Abed. Do you know Windy City Heat?
I don't think so.
Windy City Heat was like a documentary movie where they prank a friend of theirs into believing he's going to make like a movie or a show, and they have a documentary crowd following him around, but it's just like a prank. There's no show or anything, but they get pretty far into like production, and there's all these meetings and stuff, and then it's just all a prank for the movie, the Windy City Heat. And I think we should do that to Abed. It does seem really mean, and I don't know that I want to do that to Abed, but I think it would be really good to Windy City Heat Abed. No one tell him, by the way, in case we actually could do it.
I mean, it almost should be just as good if he was in on it too.
Mm-hmm.
And the twist was something slightly different. I don't know what that would be, but
yeah, it would be like that show Paul T. Goldman. You ever watch Paul T. Goldman?
No, I don't think so.
Me neither. I saw an episode of it, but I never got to the end. Seems like the same thing, though. Tab writes, "Hey, Spencer, have you ever tried cooking eggs in mayonnaise? I know of people cooking eggs in milk to make them fluffy, but one day my husband decided to cook them in mayo, and it worked out even better, which makes sense because mayo is egg-based and, oil-based. If you haven't tried that yet, I recommend it, and it would be interested to hear your take. Enjoy." I guess I'll try that. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, at a very high level, I'm not knocking this idea, by the way, but mayonnaise is basically just oil and eggs. So you're taking eggs and then adding more eggs and oil. Could you not get basically the same thing by just putting some oil in more eggs?
Yeah, I agree 100%. It's still worth trying.
Maybe we should try it side by side.
Yeah, you could try it side by side, do an A/B testing. What I'm curious about is what would happen to the mayonnaise, because presumably the eggs of the mayonnaise would get cooked. So like, what would cooking the eggs out of the mayonnaise look like? Would it like shrink up and become, like little overcooked crumbs or something? Or would it, I don't know.
I mean, I guess it depends. Mayonnaise is an emulsion, and
so
is the
water
oil
and air?
Is the oil going to fall out of the emulsion before the egg cooks or not? Because if not, that might be an interesting texture on the outside of the eggs then.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I want to try this now.
Yeah, let's try it. After this, we'll do it. I'll Skype you. Skype-stein, Kevin.
We'll have to crowdfund to buy eggs, but yes, let's try this.
Yeah, I saw a TikTok where someone was making, it was like a pancake casserole where you, it's basically like French toast, but you use frozen pancakes instead of French toast. And then, a pancake kind of custard liquid. And the liquid used 6 eggs. And so tons of people in the comments were like, 6 eggs? What am I, fucking rich? And then a bunch of other people in the comments were like, what are you talking about? Are eggs that expensive? And it's like, what are you talking about? Did you not know, like, for months, everyone was yelling about the price of eggs and all the eggs were vanishing and the eggs prices have been skyrocketing? That's just something that you just, like, had no cognizance of? Like, what are you talking about? And I don't know, this is me editorializing, but I was imagining these people as being, like, conservatives, being like, the prices aren't bad. And it's like, you were the ones that said it was bad. That's why you voted for Trump. Now you're like, the egg prices aren't that bad. Like, what the fuck are you talking? I don't know. Everybody's insane. Gen Z, Kevin. Okay. John writes, "Hey, Spencer and Chris." And then I think he wrote, sorry, I said Chris and not Kevin. My apologies. In another email. So, hey, Spencer and Chris, correct that to Spencer and Kevin. Hope you're having a good week. Has anyone ever called you Chris, Kevin?
Not to my knowledge, but I'll be Chris for the purposes of this email.
Yeah, not to your face. Behind your back, maybe. My brother's named Chris, and I don't talk to him. I don't talk to Chris. Hope you're having a good week from the past, or so far from the past, since I know this could be read in a month. Well, it was read 2 weeks later, 12 days later. So suck that. So I will catch up. Wow, it's so hot this July. Back to healthcare. I was listening to former NBA team owner and cast member of Shark Tank, Mark Cuban, promote his latest venture with his company that sells affordable prescription drugs. He spoke about how the healthcare system in America, has so many big insurance companies, dictate and muddle the landscape of healthcare, and met a doctor who is operating his own affordable medications company. And the two linked up to start a company to make generic medications as well as giving people insight as to costs. I don't know much more about his company than other what he has stated as a way of competing against bigger companies that charge a lot for prescriptions at 15% upcharge plus one or two other small fees between $5 or $10. I'm not trying to promote it, and you could choose not to say the company's name on the show, but I will tell you it's called Cost Plus. I think while he's a business owner and he's motivated to achieve his success, this is a great example of setting the possibility of changing healthcare in America. I know of other companies doing the same. Here's a billionaire and an ex-NBA team owner using their money and fame to some degree to help figure out how to change how healthcare in America affects people who cannot afford something as necessary as medication. How wonderful would it be to be able to have little to no insurance and still be able to afford medication? I would like to think it's possible to change healthcare. Maybe this could be done to some extent, surgeries and treatments one day. Maybe shooting CEOs is best left off the table. Maybe taking away high salaries and money that goes to collective funding of healthcare for all. Maybe denying claim benefits insured on the whole when they tell Luigi's Mangione to shell out, or grandfather to shell out $90,000 and therefore keeping costs down. But maybe healthcare is just a basic human right and shouldn't be a for-profit system burdening us in a way that's come to this. But here it's all. Anyway, fuck me. I'm a fucking idiot. Have a re day. John, owner of domestic short hair feline. Well, okay, let's go back. Maybe for all. Wait, where is it? Where does it say that? Maybe taking away high salaries and that money instead goes to a collective funding of healthcare for all. What a concept. What if we taxed people and used the tax money? Huh?
Radical idea.
You know, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled is convincing you didn't exist, right?
Right.
A lot of American history that people want to say like was good. The top tax bracket got taxed at such an intense rate. And that just did happen. And people like are just not aware of that. They think like if we were to tax the rich at a high rate, this would be like new unprecedented territory that we've never explored and we have no clue what could possibly happen. It happened. It worked well. It was fine. Like the world didn't end. No one like went abroad. I do think there's an extent to which they can, go abroad to hide their money, but let them fucking put them through that, make them fucking do it and then change the laws again. So they're not allowed to do it. Like fuck them over. Like it's definitely doable. Is definitely the best option. I mean, there's all sorts of other ways to do it. Obviously, what's this guy's name? Cuban. Mark Cuban is not the first person to say like, hey, what if we sold cheap generic drugs? Like Canada, you could do that in Canada and Mexico. I want to say there's American companies too. I think they maybe partner with those countries or something, but it's like, this has been around for decades. It's maybe not super widespread and maybe the prices aren't, as cheap. Maybe it's more like, middle. But yeah, I mean, obviously, people shell out tons and tons of money in medication, but the life ruining things tend to be, surgeries and medical procedures and stuff. These fucking Nazi freaks, we're talking about how they want to start giving people $5,000 to raise a kid. And these fucking idiots, they're like, oh, if I had $5,000, I'd definitely have a baby. It's like, motherfucker, it costs like $20,000 to have a pregnancy. Like, and that's just the medical procedure. Like when you go into like birthing classes or, pre and post therapy and stuff, just to deliver a baby is fucking like $20,000. Like $5,000. And that's not even talking about the cost of a baby, the cost of like keeping something alive. Just the cost of food is more than $5,000, let alone, healthcare, childcare, education, school, all this stuff. Like $5,000. Like they just don't live on this planet. They don't think. They just have broken, ruined brains. Anyway, you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, well, I don't want to in any way discredit what Mark Cuban's doing there because he is helping people and it's
yeah, he's helping people.
It's noble and things like that. But like, if I had the Mark Cuban or Jeff Bezos or Elon Musk or whatever money, I wouldn't have it long enough just to be in that position because I would be doing so much more with it, you know?
Right.
Like there's no reason people need to have that level of things when there's people that are suffering and starving and kids with cancer and things like that going on. But at the same time, I don't want society to be based around what would essentially become like a level of aristocrats deciding who's worthy of saving and who isn't and things like that. Like that shouldn't be up to unelected people who just happen to luck out in business. You know, like it shouldn't be up to them to do this. Taxes are the better answer, even if it is less efficient. You know, like everyone goes, you know, well, government's not efficient. I don't care.
Government is efficient. They just could be more efficient.
Right, exactly. You know, but I don't even care if they are inefficient. I still prefer that to having, you know, a handful of elites deciding how our medical care works with no way of us changing that.
Yeah, I mean, case in point, Mark Zuckerberg for a long time was funding schools, and then he stopped. And now they're like pulling funding from schools that are now having to make up the shortfalls, and they're getting fucked over. And this is like all happening. And it's like, oh, rich people funding schools? What a great idea. Now we can have all these schools. And it's like, well, sometimes the winds change. It's not like he lost money. It's not like he's out of money. He just stopped caring about it. You know, he could keep doing this until he dies. He wouldn't even fucking notice, you know, but he's just, he decided that the political utility of being the funding schools guy has run dry. And so now it's done, you know. And I'm sure Mark Cuban would be the same way if someone pressured him into stopping or something or whatever. Like like, you know, I no shade to him. It's not a new idea. It's great that he's doing it. But he's making money. This isn't like we're losing money doing this. They're selling it at market price plus a small, markup, and he's pocketing some of that money. You know, he could afford to lose money on this. You know, instead of marking it up, he could mark it down and pay for that, you know, but he's not doing that. But again, it is good. It takes everything. Everybody's got to do everything. We got to throw all the shit against the wall. All right, last email. Sam writes, I'm trying to watch Neon Genesis Evangelion, but I got to be honest, the intro is just not the same without you singing it. Sam. One of the suggested, there's three suggested responses, auto responses that I could send to this email. Okay, I'll check it out. And that's weird. So that's what Google suggests. And that's all the emails. Now we are caught up on emails. So we need you to send us more emails. That happens pod@gmail.com. And if you want to get on the show, go to the Discord, the Schraub Home Video Discord. Give me money on Patreon, patreon.com/thesixler. Nope, that's not it. Patreon.com/ no, it is patreon.com/thesixler. Or thathappens.com/goblinflakes. Give me money. Basically, you won't get anything, but I'll be changing that at some point where you might get something, and you will have access to the D&D podcast when it comes out on there behind the paywall. Get access to it before it goes live on the feed on for free. I think long term it won't be free, but for now it's free, or for now it's behind the paywall. Jesus Christ, I can't speak right. I think long term it will live behind the paywall probably, but I don't know. Maybe it won't be good enough. Who knows? I feel like I had another thing. Yeah. Support me. Support Kevin. Kevin is good. Follow our Kickstarter to kickstart me and Abed and Kevin's road trip. Abed goes east. Yes. Check it out. I feel like there's more. Until next time, we like to end the show the same way as we do we like to end the show the same day as we do every week. So for now, that's Sunday, baby.